Hello, my people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are across the globe. This is the corporate perspective, and my name is Fidelis Musioka, bringing you matters of politics, economics, and finance, generally in a corporate package. Here with you to deliver, enlighten, entertain, inform, and educate. Once again, welcome. Today, I begin by asking a question. How many times have we been invited for interviews? How many times have we imagined that we are ready for the subject matter, only to arrive there and realize that we were not ready? How many times have we approached interviews with utmost confidence, but yet we fall short of the glory of securing those jobs? Ladies and gentlemen, how many times have we done some preparations and thought that we are going to hit the jackpot this time round? But upon the results of the interview, we find out that hey, we never made it. So, how many times do we sit down and question our instincts, and question our intellect, and question our level of preparedness? How many times do we criticize ourselves? How many times do we feel like we have not done enough? We have not given our best. We have not prepared. How many times have we regretted failing to do one thing or the other one, which cost us a job? How many times have we been in a position of advantage, but we failed to take the job? Why? So today's discussion is about preparing for an interview. Or at the onset, I want to make it very clear that an interview is not necessarily the day when you go sit to be interviewed. It starts from the day you submit your application, because it is your application which is used to shortlist you among the list of interviewees. But now, once you've been formally listed, you are invited for a physical appearance so that in one way or the other, you can defend your credentials and prove that it is you really who applied and why you need the job, and prove to them that you deserve that job more than anybody else. So I section this process into three parts: what we must do before the D-Day of the interview, what we must do during the interview, and what must be done then after the interview. Many people fail even before the actual interview is done. People just fail. Others do exceedingly well before the interview, but now when the real day comes for them to be interviewed, they fall flat. They just fall flat. Why? We'll be unpacking that very soon. There are people who have missed jobs post the interview. They have been interviewed, they were shortlisted, they have been interviewed, they passed the interview formally, they have been invited for the job, but now they fail after that. So pathetic. And so today, we are unpacking that. So this is the first video I'm producing, and this first video will capture the first part of the interviewing process before the interview. So what must be done before the interview? Because it's a very simple thing, yet very complicated, because many people do not understand what they ought to do and what they ought not to do. And therefore, they will apply for jobs, be called upon, but then they fail. So upon receiving that call or that email or that message that, hey, good morning, blah, 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 thank you for applying for this job, you have been shortlisted, kindly avail yourselves for interviews on the 7th of on the 20th of this month, this day, this year. You clap. You are happy that the interview is finally here with you. You've been shortlisted, but then you still don't get the job. For me, I believe that being shortlisted means that you have met the threshold requirements. So now what is left is for you to prove your worth. Is for you to show to them that, you know what, guys, I can do this. And that is what, therefore, we will do today before the interview. Just after receiving that call, that now we have seen your papers, we have seen your credentials, you're satisfied our expectations. And therefore, we formally invite you to be interviewed by us for this job. Absolutely. So then, what must we do? Number one, you must ensure that upon receiving that call now, your interest must go high. Your interest for the job must go high. So therefore, now you must search and investigate what kind of an organization is that? What kind of an organization is that? What does it deal with? What is the jurisdiction of this organization? What are the products they produce? What are the services they offer? What is the, how spread is the organization? Is it a local organization? Is it a domestic organization? Is it an international organization? Because then that gives you the details about what to expect. Imagine just going to be interviewed, for an international company, and all you know is within Kenya. You look like somebody who just applied for the job, or even you look like, someone applied the job on your behalf. So then we have to be serious. We have to show that, really, guys, we know what we want. So you must search. You must find out. You must investigate. What kind of an organization is it? What is the level? Is it a blue chip company? Is it an A company? Is it a B company? Is it a C company? How strong is the company? That is very, very important. Number two is to just find out, what is the job role? After you have understood what the company deals with, after you have understood what is the scope of that company, then now you have to understand what will be your role. Because then if you're going to be answering questions about a company whose scope you do not understand and for whom role you do not know, then how then can you be able to prepare for the right questions for that interview? So basically, if you don't, you'll fail because you'll be answering questions which you've not been asked or questions which you don't understand, their origin or their relevance to the subject matter. So it is important, therefore, that we know that we must be aware of what shall be our roles. Now, you should assume that you have gotten the job. So the question is, what shall be your roles? What shall you be expected to do? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's it. Number three, you manage pre-interview anxiety. Most of us, really, you could be an introvert, somebody who doesn't like, sitting in front of people or sharing ideas with people, just somebody who wants to be indoors all the time. That could be your personality. You could be an extrovert. You could be extroverted as a person. It is important that you understand your temperament and then control your anxiety before the interview. You must have sat down. You must have, understood the reason why you are searching the company, understanding the scope of the company, the reason why you are supposed to understand your role in that position, is so that you can know what to expect. Now, after knowing what to expect or what you expect, then you can manage your anxiety because these jobs really get us very anxious. You might have looked for this job for many years or for many trials, but finally you've been called for the interview, and then suddenly you grow very anxious. you must protect yourself upon against that anxiety. You know, you cannot allow yourself, you know, proactive steps are necessary to mitigate the avoidable anxiety issues that can attack you during this process, and therefore fail to prepare, or feel like you will not do well, or feel like you're very overconfident, and then finally this may play against you and may end up making you miss out on the job. Okay, that is very, very important. Then after that, it is important for you to ensure that now this is special. This is very special. It is not for all interviews, but in cases where the panel of interviewers is known, make a point of knowing them by their names. There are some interviews where before we go to the interview on the D-Day, the names are already out. So you can know the names of the people. So for you to show that you're professional, you're disciplined, and you're respectful, it is important for you to know the names of every member of that panel, or at least more members of the panel. That will leave you at ease. That will make you create a very conducive environment for yourself, and that will make you feel welcome during the interviewing process. That is very, very important. Now, you must, after that, you must, this is for everyone now, you must select the best professional attire. There is one slogan which I always say that your dress addresses them, or you dress the way you want to be addressed. Absolutely. So don't just dress. Think, what is the most professional, comfortable attire for you? You know, there are some clothes which are very uncomfortable. Even you wearing them, not very well that you're very uncomfortable. Look for the most, comfortable clothes for you to put on that day. And they have to be professional. You must be presentable. You just don't come to the interview as if you are doing second guessing. No. You must come to the interview while you're ready and prepared for this assignment. Let them look at you and see that manager they are looking at. Let them look at you and see that, CEO they are looking at. Let them look at you and see the exact traits that they are looking for, so that you dress according to the occasion. I am not saying that you go to look for a watchman's job and then you put on a suit or something, but practice decorum. Decorum is very important. What is the expected dressing of the kind of a job that you're going to seek? You cannot go for an interview as a coach. I don't think you should put on a suit. Put on clothes which really match with the kind of a job that you'll be doing. That is very important, because not all jobs requires you to go with suits. Not all jobs requires you to go with casual attire. Understand the scope of your job, the job that you're seeking. It is important, because that really is what informs the process we are talking about. Now, next is that you can, if you want, you can conduct mock interviews sessions. You can just do some interviews, with your friends and peers or people who are above you, understand this process, so that you can prepare yourself how to answer questions, how to carry yourself once you are in the interview room. Those things give you the confidence you require for this job, because otherwise you'll go there and tense and be asked the first question of, tell us who you are, and then you go nuts, you go bonkers, because you don't understand really what you are supposed to do. Have some selected questions that you think by yourself that you suspect they could be asked. Remember, we said the first step is to search the scope of the company, then understand the role that you'll be undertaking in that company. Those two are very important in informing the rest of the preparation that you must do before the D-Day of the interview. Now, If possible, as I said, this is not very important, but if the interviewers are known, search the background of the interviewers. It is not bad to know what they do, the careers they do, you know, what is their positions. It is important to know. So also it is good to prepare by understanding, the background of your interviewers, the members of the panel that will be interviewing you, because this will make you a step ahead of them. It will keep you afloat. You'll be ahead of the process because you understand what to expect from them. If there are people who are highly known in the society, it is important to try to find out, their demeanor, all right? Because that then will help you be ready for any battering, if any, or for any, funny questions, if any, and that will give you the comfortability to answer questions in a way that will satisfy the interviewers. Now, this is important. Print multiple copies of your resume. Your resume is your curriculum vitae. Have multiple copies so that upon reaching there, you can supply all of them with, or most of them with, copies of your resume. Because most of the time, there's only one resume. So they have to share among themselves. Make their work easier. Come out as somebody who understands what they are doing. Be confident because, supplying everybody or every panelist with a copy of your resume, it gives you a head start. You're already inviting them to question you by first understanding who you are, because it's only upon reading your curriculum vitae or your resume that they can understand the kind of a person you are. That is very, very important. Yeah. And it is important that you refine your resume. Don't just write any resume and just take it because, it has been asked for. That is not right. Make sure your resume is well thought out, it is up to date, it is modern, and I have to say this, there is no a style for writing a resume that is preferred. The purpose of a resume is to provide as many details as it can about you. So it is what a resume contains, which is important. Not necessarily the style that the resume has adopted. No. But the content of the resume is what matters. So ensure that your resume has as many details as possible and free from errors whatsoever. The errors must be minimum, but give the near correct picture about who you are. And that will be a marketing point for you. All right? And just to add on, it's not just about the resume alone. All the documents that you must produce, have several copies of them so that you make it easy for the panelists to have your documents accessible to them within the shortest time possible. It is very important. That gives you the head start because you're telling them, you know what, guys, I am inviting you to quickly scrutinize me and ask me questions because that is what has brought me here. That is very important. Very, very important. And finally, you must plan your journey to the interview venue. You must ask yourself, where is the venue first? How far is it? How near is it? You must arrange for your transport. You cannot be told that the interview is starting at 8 a.m. They have slotted you. Actually, these days, companies have been very benevolent. They tell you, for you, specifically for you, your interview will be done at 12 noon. Somebody else who will be undertaking the same interview has been able to arrive at 8 a.m. Somebody else has been told to arrive at 11. Your time is 12 noon. So imagine you should be there. I will give you 15 minutes to the official time of the interview. This will now give you enough preparation time, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, physiologically.